The billing alert arrived at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, flagging contract modifications I'd never made. I'm Ethan Princeton, 42, mergers and acquisitions partner at one of Raleigh's fastest-growing practices. 20 years of corporate law taught me to trust documentation above all else. Numbers don't lie. Timestamps don't fabricate stories. Digital trails reveal truth. But this alert made no sense. Our case management system showed 3 major acquisition contracts had been accessed, modified, and reprinted between midnight and 2 a.m. The system logged my credentials, my digital signature, my authorization codes. I was home sleeping. The first contract involved a tech startup merger worth $12 million. Clean deal. Standard terms. I'd finalized it weeks ago. According to the logs, someone had altered the intellectual property clauses, printed new copies, and filed them as original work. The second contract showed similar modifications. A manufacturing acquisition. Someone had changed liability provisions and payment schedules. Again, my credentials. My supposed authorization. The third hit differently. A biotech merger I'd spent months negotiating. Complex regulatory requirements. Intricate compliance structures. The modified version showed simplified language, streamlined clauses, and a completely different legal strategy. Professional work. Expert modifications. Someone who understood corporate law. I pulled up the original files from my secure drive. Every change was strategic, improved. The modified contracts were actually better than my originals. Cleaner language. Tighter provisions. More favorable terms for our clients. That realization chilled me more than the unauthorized access. Someone had taken my work, enhanced it, and claimed authorship. The digital signatures showed my name, but the legal craftsmanship exceeded my own abilities. These weren't random alterations. They were improvements made by someone with superior expertise. The firm's printer logs confirmed physical copies had been generated. 3 sets. All during the early morning hours when the office was empty. Security footage would show who accessed the building. But first I needed to understand the scope. I ran a comprehensive audit of my case files. The search parameters covered 6 months of activity. Every contract, every filing, every document bearing my digital signature. The results appeared on my screen at 3:45 a.m. 47 files showed unauthorized modifications. 47 instances of someone accessing my work, improving it, and claiming credit. The pattern was consistent. Always during off hours. Always using my credentials. Always resulting in superior legal documents. My phone buzzed. A text from Vincent Kingsley, our business development manager. Saw you working late. The Morrison acquisition contracts look fantastic. Your best work yet. I stared at the message. The Morrison deal was among the modified files. Vincent was complimenting work I hadn't done. Work that bore my name but reflected someone else's expertise. The office building's security system required keycard access after hours. The logs would show exactly who entered when. But as I prepared to call building security, another realization struck me. Vincent had keycard access. Vincent knew my login credentials from our shared project management system. Vincent had been unusually helpful lately, offering to handle document preparation and filing. Vincent, who'd been with the firm for 3 years. Vincent, who'd graduated from Duke Law but never practiced. Vincent, whose job involved client development, not legal drafting. Vincent, who somehow knew the Morrison contracts looked fantastic at 3:45 a.m. The investigation required methodical precision. I couldn't confront Vincent without irrefutable. 3 years of trust had built our working relationship. He'd joined the firm fresh from business school, eager to bridge the gap between legal expertise and client development. I remembered his first week. Vincent had shadowed me during client meetings, taking detailed notes about contract structures and negotiation strategies. He'd asked intelligent questions about merger documentation and due diligence procedures. His business background complemented my legal training perfectly. The partnership had been natural. I handled the complex legal work while Vincent managed client relationships and business development. He'd bring in new deals, I'd execute the legal framework. The arrangement had generated substantial revenue for the firm, but Vincent's helpfulness had evolved over recent months. He'd started offering to review my drafts before filing. He'd volunteer to handle document preparation during busy periods. He'd even suggested improvements to my contract language, claiming insights from his business development conversations. They corrected my cross-examinations without humiliating me. Now I understood why his suggestions had been so sophisticated. Vincent wasn't just offering business perspective. He was accessing my work, enhancing it with superior legal knowledge, then presenting the improvements as collaborative input. The security logs confirmed my suspicions. Vincent's keycard had accessed the building 47 times during the past 6 months, always between midnight and 4 a.m., always on nights when I'd left unfinished work on my computer. I pulled his employment file. Duke Law School, graduated magna cum laude, law review editor, federal clerkship with the Fourth Circuit. 2 years at a prestigious firm in Charlotte before joining our practice. Vincent wasn't just business development. He was a highly qualified attorney who'd deliberately taken a non-practicing role. But why? The answer emerged from deeper research. Vincent's bar license showed a 6-month suspension 3 years ago. Professional misconduct. Client fund misappropriation. The suspension had ended just before he joined our firm. He couldn't practice law under his own name, but he could practice under mine. I accessed the firm's billing system. Vincent's timesheet entries showed standard business development activities, client meetings, marketing events, networking functions, nothing that would generate billable hours for legal work. But my billing records told a different story. The enhanced contracts had generated premium fees. Clients had paid top rates for sophisticated legal work they believed I'd performed, work that Vincent had actually completed using my credentials and reputation. The financial impact was staggering. Over 6 months, the modified documents had generated an additional $340,000 in fees, money that had been credited to my practice and contributed to my partnership track record. Vincent had been stealing my identity to practice law illegally, but he'd also been making me look like a better attorney than I actually was. My computer chimed with an email notification. Vincent had sent a message at 4:15 a.m. Ethan, reviewed the Henderson merger docs you left on your desk. Made a few minor adjustments to the indemnification clauses. Nothing major, just tightened the language. Files ready for tomorrow's meeting. -V. I checked my desk. The Henderson file was exactly where I'd left it. But the documents inside had been replaced with enhanced versions. Superior legal work bearing my digital signature. Vincent was still active, still accessing my work, still improving it and claiming I'd done it myself. The pattern was accelerating. In the past month alone, he'd modified 12 different files. Each enhancement had resulted in client praise and increased fees. My reputation within the firm had never been stronger, but it was built on Vincent's unauthorized legal work. I needed to document everything before confronting him. The tactics had to be comprehensive and irrefutable. Vincent's bar suspension meant he was already on thin ice with the state disciplinary board. Unauthorized practice would trigger immediate investigation. I compiled a detailed report, security logs showing his after-hours access, computer records proving document modifications, billing discrepancies linking enhanced work to premium fees, email communications where he'd claimed credit for improvements. That painted a clear picture. Vincent Kingsley had been using my credentials to practice law illegally for 6 months. He'd generated hundreds of thousands in fees while building my reputation on his superior legal skills. At 6:30 a.m., I heard Vincent's keycard at the office entrance. He always arrived early, claiming he preferred quiet morning hours for strategic planning. Now I knew he was checking on his overnight legal work. He knocked on my doorframe. "Morning, Ethan? Ready for the Henderson meeting?" I looked up from my computer screen. Vincent stood in my doorway, coffee in hand, wearing his usual confident smile. The same smile he'd worn while systematically stealing my professional identity. "Vincent," I said, "carefully, we need to talk." Vincent's smile faltered. He stepped into my office and closed the door behind him. "What's on your mind?" he asked, settling into the chair across from my desk. I turned my monitor toward him. The screen displayed his security access logs from the previous night. Timestamps showing his entry at 11:47 p.m. and exit at 2:33 a.m. "Explain this," I said. Vincent studied the screen for several seconds. His expression remained neutral, but I noticed his grip tighten on his coffee cup. "I came in to review some files. Couldn't sleep. You know how it is." "Which files?" "General research. Market analysis for potential clients." I clicked to the next screen. Computer logs showing modifications to the Henderson contract at 12:52 a.m. Vincent's user credentials accessing my case management system. Try again. Vincent set down his coffee. The casual demeanor was gone now. He leaned back in his chair and studied me with calculating eyes. "You've been busy," he said. 6 months, Vincent. 6 months of unauthorized practice, using my credentials, modifying my work, building my reputation on your legal skills. And what a reputation it's become." Vincent's voice carried no apology. "Your billable hours are up 40%. Client satisfaction scores are the highest in the firm. The partners are talking about fast-tracking your equity consideration, while you're suspended from practice. A temporary setback, political nonsense from the disciplinary board." I opened another file on my screen. Billing records showing premium fees charged for enhanced legal work that Vincent had performed while claiming I'd done it. "You've generated over $300,000 in additional fees," I said, using my bar number, my digital signature, my professional credentials. Vincent stood and walked to my window. He looked out at the Raleigh skyline, hands clasped behind his back. "The clients received superior legal representation," he said. "The firm collected appropriate fees for premium work. Your career advanced based on demonstrated excellence. Where's the harm? You're practicing law without a license. I'm providing strategic consultation to a licensed attorney. You review everything before it goes out, after you've already modified it. After you've already done the legal work." Vincent turned back to face me. "Ethan, you're overthinking this. We have a good thing here. The clients are happy. The firm is profitable. Your future is secure." I printed the file I'd compiled. 23 pages of security logs, computer records, and billing documentation. I slid the stack across my desk. "Read it," I said. Vincent picked up the papers and flipped through them slowly. His expression grew more serious with each page. "This is comprehensive," he admitted. "It's also going to the Legal Integrity Review Panel this morning." Vincent set the papers down carefully. "That would be unfortunate for both of us." "How do you figure?" "The disciplinary board will investigate your supervision practices. They'll question how you failed to detect unauthorized modifications to your own work for 6 months. They'll examine your billing practices and client communications." Vincent sat back down and leaned. "Your bar license could be at risk too." The threat was clear. Vincent was suggesting that my failure to detect his unauthorized practice made me complicit, that the disciplinary board might view my enhanced reputation as of knowing participation. "You're bluffing," I said. "Am I? You signed off on every document. You billed every hour. You accepted every compliment from clients and partners. The board might wonder why you never questioned your sudden improvement in legal skills." I considered his words. The disciplinary board did examine attorney supervision responsibilities. They could potentially find that my failure to detect Vincent's unauthorized practice constituted negligent supervision. But the alternative was worse, allowing Vincent to continue practicing illegally while building my career on his work. "I'm reporting this," I said. Vincent nodded slowly. "I expected you might." He stood and walked toward my door, then paused with his hand on the handle. "Ethan, you should know something. I wasn't the only one." "What do you mean?" "Check the other associates' files. Check their billing records. Check their recent client praise." Vincent opened my door and stepped into the hallway. This goes deeper than you think. I stared at my computer screen after Vincent left. His final words echoed in my mind. Other associates, other files, other billing records. I accessed the firm's case management system and pulled up associate billing data for the past 6 months. The patterns were immediately obvious. Dramatic increases in billable hours across multiple attorneys. Enhanced client satisfaction scores. Premium fees for superior legal work. Vincent hadn't just been using my credentials. He'd been systematically improving legal work across the entire associate level. Using suspended bar credentials to practice law through multiple licensed attorneys, the scope was staggering. Vincent had essentially been running a shadow law practice within our firm, generating millions in fees while building reputations for attorneys who had no idea their work was being enhanced. I called the Legal Integrity Review Panel at 9:15 a.m. The receptionist transferred me to white-collar case coordinator Jonah Friedman. "Mr. Princeton," Friedman said after I'd explained the situation, "this sounds like a complex unauthorized practice investigation. Can you be here at 2 o'clock this afternoon?" "Yes." "Bring all documentation, computer logs, billing records, security access reports, everything you've compiled." I spent the morning gathering additional. The deeper I dug, the more extensive Vincent's operation became. He'd been accessing files for 12 different associates, modifying contracts, briefs, and client communications. Using our credentials to practice law while suspended, the firm's managing partner, Valentina Kingsley, called me into her office at 11:30 a.m. "Ethan, I understand you've raised some concerns about Vincent's activities. You know about this." Vincent briefed me this morning. He's concerned about potential misunderstandings regarding his consulting role. Valentina gestured for me to sit. Her office overlooked downtown Raleigh, with floor-to-ceiling windows and expensive artwork, the kind of office that represented decades of successful legal practice. "Vincent provides valuable strategic consultation," she continued. "His insights have improved our work product significantly. Client satisfaction is at an all-time high. He's practicing law without a license. He's providing consultation to licensed attorneys. There's a distinction." I realized that Valentina knew exactly what Vincent was doing. The managing partner was aware that a suspended attorney was using our credentials to practice law illegally. "The disciplinary board won't see it that way," I said. "The disciplinary board will see what we present to them. Vincent's suspension was politically motivated. His legal skills remain exceptional. Our clients have benefited from his expertise." Valentina leaned. "Ethan, you've had an outstanding 6 months. Your work quality has improved dramatically. The partners are impressed. Don't jeopardize your future over technicalities." I left her office understanding that the firm's leadership was complicit in Vincent's unauthorized practice. They were knowingly allowing a suspended attorney to use our credentials while generating millions in fees. At 2 p.m. I met with Jonah Friedman at the Legal Integrity Review Panel offices. Friedman was a methodical investigator with 20 years of experience in attorney discipline cases. "Mr. Princeton, walk me through your discovery process." I presented this systematically. Security logs showing Vincent's after-hours access. Computer records proving document modifications. Billing discrepancies linking enhanced work to premium fees. The scope of associates affected by his unauthorized practice. Friedman reviewed each document carefully. "This appears to be systematic, unauthorized practice of law. How long has Mr. Kingsley been suspended?" 8 months. His suspension was for client trust account violations. "And the firm's management was aware of his continued involvement?" The managing partner confirmed it this morning. She characterized it as strategic consultation. Friedman made detailed notes. "Mr. Princeton, this investigation will likely expand beyond Mr. Kingsley. We'll need to examine the firm's supervision practices and management awareness." "I understand. You should also know that your cooperation in reporting this violation will be noted favorably in our investigation. Attorney self-reporting demonstrates professional integrity." The investigation moved quickly. Within a week, the Legal Integrity Review Panel had interviewed 12 associates and 3 partners. Computer forensics confirmed Vincent's systematic access to case files and unauthorized modifications to legal documents. Vincent's bar suspension was extended indefinitely pending criminal investigation. The district attorney's office opened a case for unauthorized practice of law and fraud. The firm faced potential sanctions for inadequate supervision. Valentina Kingsley resigned as managing partner. The partnership voted to terminate Vincent's employment and cooperate fully with all investigations. But the damage to associate careers was significant. Several attorneys faced disciplinary review for failing to detect unauthorized modifications to their work. Client relationships were strained as the scope of Vincent's unauthorized practice became public. I testified before the disciplinary board about my discovery process and the firm's response. The board commended my reporting but questioned why I hadn't detected the unauthorized practice sooner. "Mr. Princeton," the board chair said, "how do you explain 6 months of enhanced legal work without recognizing external assistance?" Vincent's modifications were subtle and technically superior. He enhanced rather than replaced my work. The improvements appeared to be natural professional development. The board ultimately found no disciplinary violation in my case. They determined that Vincent's sophisticated deception and the firm's complicit management created circumstances that made detection difficult for individual associates. Vincent pled guilty to unauthorized practice of law and fraud charges. He received 18 months in prison and permanent disbarment. The restitution order required him to repay fees generated through unauthorized practice. The firm implemented new security protocols and supervision requirements. All case files now required dual attorney review before finalization. Computer access logs were monitored daily for unusual activity patterns. But the culture had changed. Trust between associates and management was damaged. Several experienced attorneys left for other firms. Client confidence required months to rebuild. I remained at the firm through the investigation and recovery period. My role evolved into helping other associates understand the disciplinary process and rebuild their professional confidence. The experience taught me that legal excellence built on deception ultimately collapses. Vincent's superior skills couldn't justify his unauthorized practice. The firm's profits couldn't excuse their complicit management. Justice was served, but the cost was measured in damaged careers and broken trust. 12 months later, I opened my own practice in downtown Raleigh. The office was smaller than my previous workspace, but the independence felt liberating. No case management systems to monitor, no billing alerts to investigate, no unauthorized modifications to discover. My practice focused on professional responsibility and appellate work. Word spread quickly about my experience with the Vincent Kingsley case. Attorneys facing disciplinary proceedings sought my counsel. I understood their fear and confusion better than most. The Legal Integrity Review Panel referred several cases to me. Jonah Friedman occasionally called with questions about unauthorized practice detection. Our professional relationship had evolved into mutual respect. "Ethan," he said during one consultation, "your experience gives you unique insight into these cases. You understand both the violation and the discovery process." I specialized in appellate advocacy for wrongfully disciplined attorneys. The work was challenging but rewarding. Each case reminded me why professional integrity mattered more than enhanced performance or increased profits. My former firm struggled for months after the scandal. 3 partners left to start their own practice. Client retention dropped significantly. The enhanced security protocols slowed their workflow and reduced efficiency. Valentina Kingsley contacted me 6 months after Vincent's sentencing. She had started working for a legal aid organization in Charlotte. Her experience with the investigation had changed her perspective on corporate law practice. "I learned that loyalty to the profession matters more than loyalty to any individual firm," she told me. Vincent's skills were impressive, but his methods were wrong. The Bar Association used our case as a training example for new attorneys. They emphasized the importance of recognizing unauthorized practice and reporting violations promptly. My testimony became part of their educational materials. I testified at 3 additional disciplinary hearings involving similar cases. Each situation was unique, but the pattern remained consistent. Ambitious individuals cutting corners. firms prioritizing profits over professional standards, associates caught between loyalty and ethics. The work was emotionally demanding but professionally fulfilling. I helped attorneys navigate the disciplinary process with dignity. Some faced suspension or disbarment. Others received private reprimands or continuing education requirements. My practice grew steadily. Referrals came from satisfied clients and professional colleagues. The reputation I built was based on competence and integrity rather than enhanced performance or unauthorized assistance. Evening walks through downtown Raleigh became my routine. The city's growth continued, but my perspective had changed. Success measured in billable hours and client retention seemed less important than professional satisfaction and ethical practice. The Vincent Kingsley case taught me that excellence achieved through deception was ultimately worthless. Real professional development required honest effort and legitimate mentorship. Shortcuts led to disciplinary proceedings and damaged careers. I never regretted reporting Vincent's unauthorized practice. The investigation was difficult, but the outcome was just. Professional responsibility required difficult decisions and uncomfortable confrontations. My office walls displayed my law degree and bar admission certificate. No enhanced credentials or modified achievements, just honest qualifications earned through legitimate effort and maintained through ethical practice. The silence in my office was different from the tense quiet that followed Vincent's discovery. This silence represented peace rather than fear, confidence rather than suspicion, professional integrity rather than enhanced deception. It was finally over, and the silence felt earned.